Welcome back to the Business of Being Black with Tammi Mack. I'm Tammi Mack, and the business of being black today is white culture. Is it even a thing? Now, I know Chuck been dying to get to this part of the conversation. We are here, Chuck. We are at the food portion of the show. Spicy food is often associated with ethnic food. Is unseasoned food a part of white culture? Let me just say this. My next door neighbor is white. And every time I invite him over for dinner, he says, I don't eat anything spicy. I don't eat anything spicy. And we have been living next door to each other now for 5 years. And he still tells me I don't eat anything spicy. And I'm like, we don't eat anything spicy over here either. Why do you keep telling me that?
They just might have a baby palate like me. I tell my mom I don't eat anything spicy. She raised me and she still feeds me hot food sometimes.
It's crazy. So, Robert, food is an important part of culture, and soul food is a huge part of Black culture. So what foods would you equate to white culture?
I feel like white culture adopts whatever is like the diet of the month. And it's usually
the diet of the month.
Yeah, the diet of the month. It's always like, what are white people eating today? And so I feel like just recently white people have started to discover seasoning, but I think there's definitely a historical aspect to why white people are associated with not seasoning their food. Mm-hmm. Because usually it was only like royalty that had, if I'm correct about this, it was only like royalty that really had access to spices. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it's just like something that most European cultures had in common for a very long time, just not making do without many spicy, not many spices in your cabinet. Right. Because it's
and for me, spices doesn't necessarily mean spicy, right? Like you can have spices that are not hot, but
salt is technically a spice.
Yeah. Owen, what is it with the raisins? What is it with white people and the raisins in the potato salad, the raisins in the macaroni, the raisins?
I think it's sort of kind of a uniquely American food, like particularly macaroni and cheese, I guess. And I think it's, I don't really know what specifically it is about white people, honestly, that really are drawn to mac and cheese, but I think it is more.
Well, I meant more of the raisins, like
more of the raisins.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm personally not a huge fan of raisins. I think that I don't know. It's like eating old people. I don't really like. Yeah, I don't really enjoy that. But I don't know. I don't know if I have a great answer for that.
Like, no comment on the raisins. So, Chuck, let me say this. We often, the Black culture, we make fun of the white culture for their food. However, white people don't, white people have to deal with diabetes less than Black people. White people have to deal with high cholesterol less than Black people. So are white people onto something with the way that they prepare their food? Because it seems to be Black people who are disproportionately affected by these types of diseases that have to do with the food that we eat. So are white people more knowledgeable about what's healthy and what keeps them alive versus Black people?
I'd have to argue no, because again, when we talk about culturally the foods that are eaten in Black culture, and especially around holiday times, we have to look at where they come from. Cornbread came from cornmeal. Cornmeal came from the leftovers. You feel me? Is making do. When it comes to meats that are eaten, pig feet, who just decided they wanted to eat the pig's foot? That's what was left, and you made do. The seasoning is to add to the fact you're eating the leftovers, like you're eating carcass, you feel me? Chitlins, you're eating intestines. In order to make that appetizing, you gotta doctor it up. And then that gets passed on as being culturally what is acceptable and what is eaten. So we also understand now that hereditary things are passed down. So part of it is from having to eat these things, having to make do, then the lineage is passing down these hereditary diseases while also instilling into us that these are the foods that we should be eating, and these foods cause the problems to begin with. So it's kind of baked in, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily being knowledgeable of these facts, but taking the opportunity from Black people to have those foods and build them into the culture. And then the ignorance on our part in a certain stance to just do the research. You can Google what's good to eat. You feel me? Like you can make that decision for yourself on what you can and can't eat and what's going to be beneficial for your body. So partially it was just being blind to it. And now it's just ignoring the facts.